Hey there, and welcome to today's video. For today's video, just yesterday, here in Canada, we celebrated Canada Day. Now, last year, you might remember that I built a house that was actually shaped like a maple leaf. Now, I figured that was a bit much to try it again this year. So what I did instead is I built a whole house that was just white and red. Those are the only two colors that I used throughout this house. So what I did for it is I filtered items that were only under the category white or under the category red. The issue with that at first was that when you filter through the category white, it includes absolutely everything that has white. So it would be things that have white and green or white and blue or white and brown. Point is, I didn't really want to use anything that wasn't only white or white with red. There were some exceptions to this rule. So, for example, one of the things that you'll see that I use, even though it doesn't filter through white, are the bookshelves. That one was a bit of a weird one, just because the bookshelves actually do have a white swatch, but for some reason they weren't being filtered under the category for white. So I figured that was one of those things that was okay to go for. Any other thing that didn't filter but was necessary, so maybe some fences here and there. For example, the fences that I put around the window wells for the basement, those I don't believe were actually filtered under white or red for that matter, but I also didn't want to use a full-on fence, and IRL in a basement they would have at least a bit of a barrier, but that's not really something I could do here. I also tried to do it with platforms by lowering down a platform and not having the window well be the whole length of the basement. But at the end of the day, that's not really something you could do. So I just decided to have the whole well and cover it with bricks. Now, the bricks, I can't recall if they were filtered under red as well, but I did choose a red one, so at least I figured that that was okay as well. So even lighting, for example, I didn't want to just use pot lights because those are filtered under gray, technically, since they are silver. So what I did instead is I just went ahead and used anything that was filtered under white in lighting. A lot of the wallpaper as well, I tried to not go for anything that wouldn't filter there. So basically, long story short, the whole house is red and white. As for the house itself, I started off just building whatever I kind of saw fit. I wanted a bit more of a suburban house, but I didn't want it to be super modern either. I wanted this house to be more like you would see a traditional suburban house. So I wanted it to be 2 floors. I did consider making it just a bungalow, but decided against that since I actually did want the challenge of having stairs upstairs as well, because I knew I was going to make a basement. I knew for sure that I wanted to build a basement since it's not something that I typically do, and I thought, why don't we make a second floor to go along with it as well? So, my idea behind this house is that the first floor is probably the way it originally was. Maybe it's gotten some paint here and there, but most of the walls are where they would have originally been. Same with upstairs. It would have been a house where only bedrooms were upstairs, no bathrooms, and the only bathroom in the whole house would have been on the main floor. I have seen this quite a bit for some reason. I don't know why anyone, whenever they designed these houses, would have thought that was a good idea. But I decided to go with that design this time around. I was going to make a ensuite upstairs and the master bedroom upstairs as well, but then I would have ended up with just 2 bedrooms and they were going to be really small. So I decided to change things up a bit, and I thought, what if this house would have been renovated at some point, and now the master bedroom is downstairs? Mind you, this would be extremely annoying, considering that this house is made with a toddler and a baby in mind. So would the nursery actually be upstairs? I don't know, I highly doubt it, but what I can tell you is that that's the way this house was designed. So upstairs, there's going to be a nursery, there's going to be a bedroom for a kid and a toddler, and then there's going to be a single bedroom, I imagine more like a tween or a teen in there. And downstairs is where I decided to put the master bedroom. There was another room upstairs which I ended up just making into an office. I debated making it for another toddler, but I figured it would be kind of weird for a toddler and a kid to be sharing a room, yet a single toddler to be getting another room well for themselves. So the master bedroom ended up downstairs, and I imagine that being like a basement that had never been renovated. It had always just been bare bones. And maybe this family came in and decided we're going to have our bedroom down there, we're going to have our own bathroom, and just went ahead, made their own ensuite, made their own oasis down there, if you will, and ended up putting an entertainment area and a gym while they were at it. I think that's the reason why I don't tend to do a lot of basements. It's not like I've never seen one, it's not like I've never had one. To me, it's just more of a what do you really put down there? If you already have a decent sized living room and if you already have a decent size everything else upstairs, meaning your bedrooms and your bathrooms, there's no real need to do a basement in my opinion, but it's also very different when you're talking about IRL because you need different entertainment areas, especially if you have a lot of kids and they have a lot of friends that they want to bring over. So I think IRL, it does make a bit more sense to have some entertainment areas down there if you can't really fit them in your main floor. But unless you have something like a walkout in your basement, I don't really think it's very comfortable to have bedrooms down there. In this case, I put full-size windows. So if there was ever a fire, it is a house that is up to code. They could leave through there. But without talking about the realism of it, in The Sims, I don't know much of the use of it unless you were going to do things like make a torture chamber, for example, which a lot of people do make. They make prison cells down there or whatever it is that you're doing based on your gameplay. Now, for me, though, I build more than what I play. I will admit that. So it's not something that I always would tend to do. But I do find the humor in it, and I have done it before. Now, all in all, I will admit I didn't actually playtest the house at the end of the day before uploading it. I figured I don't know how many people are going to want to download this, but even if you do, there's probably a lot that people are going to want to fix a bit. Especially if you consider the master bedroom with all in all, it's very long. I struggled quite a bit with the layout in general. So a lot of the layout and a lot of the roofing I actually cut out. Same with the bathrooms. It's things that I find that are very repetitive and I don't think anyone needs to see me sit there for probably more than half an hour trying to figure them out. So I cut that out, but that being said, the layout was kind of awkward since I knew I wanted an entertainment area downstairs and having it be 3 wide was going to be too narrow. So the entertainment area, in this case, maybe like a home theater and stuff would have been down there. That I figured needed to be all the way at the end, kind of right underneath the kitchen, basically. So based on that, I pretty much did the rest of the layout, and that's why the bedroom ended up where it was. I really wanted it to be upstairs, but I think it made more sense to have the kids be upstairs than have them be downstairs. Since I knew I wanted this to be more than just a couple parents and a child, so I needed a lot more space since I wanted this basically to be more than a single child house. So with that, I played around with the layout a lot and ended up with this. Something else that I actually used by what it's sorted as was all of the landscaping. I didn't use any landscaping that wasn't sorted by either white or red, so that really limited what I could use for landscaping, which again, a lot of it I just cut out. But something that I found really interesting is that there are no outdoor bins that are actually sorted by white, even though there was one that seemed to be white to me, so I'm not too sure why it wouldn't sort through there. But anyways, we are getting close to the end of this video. If you live in Canada, I hope you had a happy Canada Day. I know a lot of things are still going on in Canada, but let's all try to take it one day at a time is my view on it. And if you don't live in Canada, well, I guess now you know that yesterday, July the 1st, was Canada Day. So let me know what you think down below. Let me know what you'd like me to try out next. There are some community lots coming up. I actually had one ready to go for this week and then realized we were already at the end of the month. So hey, at least time is going by quickly. I guess that's a good thing. So thank you so much for watching and I hope to see you in the next video. Have a great weekend.